gotta get your brain right if you're trying to make $1 million. If you ain't gonna do it for yourself, then do it for your mama. Only stay surrounded by them people if you know they solid. Elevate your hustle up today to double up your profit. Trying to learn some game, Xavier gon' talk about it. No Deanna, speak that shit that everybody vouching. Ain't no more excuses valid. Get up off the couch and get up in your bag. To your bank account, need an accountant.
Yo, welcome back to the greatest show on earth, the Millionaire Mindsets Podcast. I am host Xavier. And before we get this show started, I would like to advise all the listeners and watchers to please subscribe, like, leave a comment or a 5-star rating. All those things we would greatly appreciate it. We're trying to run those numbers up, y'all. So once again, if y'all could do that, we would greatly appreciate it. And getting right to the show, because y'all know I'm not a small talk kind of person. I don't really like small talk. I like to get straight to it. I got a special guest, man. He's killing it. His name is Q Banks. Welcome to the show, bro. I'm excited you're here, man.
Appreciate it, man. Thank you. Thank you.
So getting right to it, man. So for the people who may be stuck on that rock, they might not never heard of you. Just give some background on yourself real quick.
Yeah, so it's good. Like my name is Quillen Black, aka Q Banks on IG. I'm mainly known for trading in like the currency market mainly. From that point, I focus a lot on like other types of investments in the digital assets with cryptos, currencies. We have a funding program, like all these things, but it's all based around like the trading industry overall. Those like that's pretty much like my overall forte, you know.
Okay.
Yeah.
So how you get started in that?
First started from like when I was 20 years old. I'm 32 now. Just dabbling first in like stock options and that kind of shit, and then eventually got on to, trading currencies, which has a lot more, let's say like lower capital needed to actually make some good money. So then eventually started doing that. And yeah, got very good at it. Started my educational platform called Wall Street Academy, and then I've been booming ever since. Honestly, like 15,000 students all around the entire world.
That's crazy.
Doing that for like 8 years now. So yeah, man, like it's my bread and butter.
That's crazy, man. So, congrats on all your success. But I remember, because speaking of Forex, because I remember when I first started hearing the Forex, I think I was talking to someone else about this. I was like, I think the like all the bots and like the MLMs, they gave it like a bad rap for a while, because I know a lot of people, they just immediately heard Forex, they thought scam.
Nah, so like I pretty much seen everything. Like, so it's, even in 2014, like when the NIT started actually coming around, like it was very different.
Right.
It wasn't much like educational platforms around. That's when MLMs for trading wasn't even around yet until like around 2015, 2016-ish. And then eventually it boomed so hard in that industry that people kind of like forgot that, like you don't have to be a part of an MLM to actually trade and that kind of shit. You know what I'm saying? So like I'm pretty much like one of the ones that pretty much stuck to the roots to kind of like show people like, like you don't have to be a part of an MLM. You can pretty much learn the craft and from there trade individually by yourself and that kind of shit. So seeing all that happen, and then eventually, technology got better, bots and that kind of shit. That's when the bots kind of like started taking over everything and then started turning everything into a scam. And then, like people kind of like ruined certain aspects of it. But at the same time, like for the people that actually do it, like we're not really worried because, like we don't really need people to actually make money.
Right. Yeah. So, how long did it take you to become a full-time trader?
Well, to be confident enough to go on my own, I'll probably say like around. So like I was working at Target in 2014 through 2015. Like I worked at Target for like 10 months, and I took the leap of faith when pretty much I was making like a good amount of money, but I was making like, let's say like at that point I was still having like a 1K days and that kind of shit, even at Target. But at the same time, like still taking like that leap of just leaving something that's guaranteed, even though like I wasn't really making much, like probably like $350, $400 every 2 weeks at Target. It was just the fact of leaving a job. But I felt like it was not even about like if I was ready to even jump, but at the same time, it was just the fact that I was jumping, but also being confident in myself to know that I could actually take it on like beyond just, just freelancing. You know what I'm saying? Like not even being attached to nobody, like not being attached to a job and that kind of stuff, and just doing like my own shit just individually,
How many hours, if you had to guess, how many hours you think you put in before you really like felt fully confident in your abilities to do it?
Man, I can't even count hours, bro, because at the time, like, I mean, getting into like a whole new language and that kind of stuff, like this is a whole new language, like when it comes to the investing world and that kind of stuff. So, I mean, I can't even count hours, bro, but like I remember like days after days after days, like I'm falling asleep on my laptop, just like typing like this. I have photos and everything on my IG, like I'm like this, knocked out day after day after day after day after day after day. Just pretty much getting the like my skill set together, you know, and getting like my chart time in. That's pretty much when we're actually analyzing on the charts and that kind of shit. Like that pretty much is hours that we're putting in to actually get better at that certain craft. But who knows now, bro? Like I'm definitely well over like, damn, $30,000, $40,000. I feel like, yeah, bro. Like I've been on my shit, man. Like I haven't took a day off in like about eight years. Like I feel like this is a craft that you got to put a lot of time into. Plus, I was teaching a lot also. I teach on my online platform. I was teaching in person. I was pretty much trading. I'm trading like right now. You know what I'm saying? Like it's a lot of time that I'm putting in throughout the entire day. So like the hours is
Crazy,
it comes. You know what I'm saying? But to count it, can't really say, man. But I'm on every single day for the past like 8 years.
The reason I ask is because I think these days so many people like they hear about trading, they learn trading, they might start trading 2 weeks later. They're like, man, fuck my job, I'm out.
Not like, well, it's that's like a valid thought, but like a super invalid thought. But at the same time, like I mean, this is something that could definitely make you a lot of money very, very quickly. But at the same time, like it gives you, it has like a misconception behind it because at the same time, like you can make money quickly, but how often can you sustain that profitability? You know what I'm saying? So you have to pretty much learn the craft, but also like practice your craft day after day after day after day to the point that you could just actually depend on just your craft to make the kind of living that you want to make. You know what I'm saying?
Right. And I like asking traders this, like whenever I have a trader on the show, I like asking them like from their opinion and perspective, what makes a good trader?
Well, I mean, keep in mind, I've taught students all around the world. I did all that, so I've come across many kinds of people that pretty much started from nothing to the point that they actually become a trader that they aspire to be. So I mean, like I have a different perspective on that entire thing. You know, for one, you got to be resilient. You know what I'm saying? Like take a no for an answer. Like not even like, let's say, being open to failure at any point in time. Like you're gonna lose money and that kind of shit, but getting back up, keep on going, losing money again, save up again, like go back on the charts again. Like pretty much like you got to pretty much have that type of trait alone. You have to be passionate about the craft itself. You have to be open to critiques. You know, like there's a lot of things that's gonna happen like when it comes to like getting critiqued in this type of industry because technical analysis is very, very you know, certain things have to be done a certain kind of way at a certain time, and like that has to be.
What you mean by that?
It's very it's a case to case basis. Like each and every trade that you actually take, you're approaching it differently each and every time. You're gonna pretty much be using certain tools at different times to analyze the market to pretty much comprehend like what you're looking at. And it's always going to be a little bit different as far as like you have like a set of tools laid out. Like there's certain times that you got to pretty much use this tool versus this tool, but at the same time, like at different times, like you got to analyze a certain kind of way because the charts are always going to be a little bit different, but you have to pretty much use your tools to actually, right. But it's going to be the same tools every single time, but a different order every single time. And yeah, the market is always changing. Like even for the past like couple of years, the market has changed drastically since like Bitcoin has been moving heavy and that kind of stuff also. So all that pretty much took part in like, you know, why the markets change each and every day, each and every year. And yeah, so like you got to pretty much critique that each and every year and that kind of stuff. Right. So like you can't just like learn like one style and just like stick to one style. Like that style grows as you're growing also. Yeah.
That's some game, bro.
Yeah.
And what's in your opinion, what's like the biggest mistake that you see like new traders make when they get into the markets?
Watching other people, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like not comparing to like you're brand new and you're comparing yourself to a person that's been on it for 5 years or 6 years or 7 years, or you know what I'm saying, or a person that pretty much has a bit more of a skill, like when it comes to like you know, analyzing certain patterns or that kind of stuff. Like their pattern recognition just naturally is just a lot higher than yours. Like that pretty much gives them a little bit of edge, or they study better. You know, like all those small things that pretty much matters. So like if you pretty much step into like to this field now, not knowing like what to expect, like going to a person that has been on it for, like me for 8 years now, you're looking at the wrong thing. Like I tell people all the time, like, yo, don't go on my Instagram. Like if you just started trading, do not go on my Instagram because
why you say that?
Because you're seeing Lambos, you're seeing Ferraris, you're seeing traveling, you're seeing all the cars that I have and that kind of shit because I'm a car collector also. So at the same time, like over time, trading has been able me to actually afford those kind of things. But at the same time, like for a brand new person looking at me, like you're gonna fuck yourself. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm 8 years in, you're 1 day in. So I don't want to throw you off too much. Focus on a person that pretty much is still in that groove of just trying to get it in and find their rhythm and that kind of shit. Because I feel like you could like throw a person off to make them think that they can make $1,000 like tomorrow. You know what I'm saying? And have things going at that point. Like, oh shit, like where's the Lambos like next week?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like it's
people
really
think that too.
Yeah. Like it's a very, very common thing. So I feel like just focusing on your own path and like not really watching the path of like what everybody else got going on, because like they probably study a lot longer than you. They've probably been in a lot longer than you, like all these things. Like it's a lot of variables that come into it, to the point that you have to kind of like just focus on just your own shit, you know? Because once you actually focus on that other person's stuff, then you're gonna get thrown off to try to catch up to where they are. But in reality, like that's not what it is, because it's your own game. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and that's a strong life lesson, period, for real.
Yeah.
Just worry about yourself. And let's talk about crypto for a second. Like we all know the crypto market been in the shits. What's your thoughts on that?
I mean, great market overall still, man. But at the same time, like, I mean, you're still in like a world that is still being heavily adapted. Even like now, like, I mean, Bitcoin is at like around 15,000 or 16,000 now. I mean, I'm very, very down on crypto, but at the same time, like, I mean, it's a market, you know what I'm saying? Like you're actually implementing like a crazy ass new currency to the point that it could change the world, like how it kind of already has. So it's going to fluctuate very, very heavily. So a lot of banks and that kind of stuff can actually get a piece of that pot when it does finally get to 100,000 and that kind of stuff. Because I came across this movie the other day, and it was like a futuristic movie. And then they're in the car, and then they're like, well, on the radio, they're like, oh, Bitcoin now just hit 500,000, blah, blah, blah. And it's supposed to be like 2090 or some shit. But I'm like, wow, like they're talking about this in movies in the future. So like you kind of can already see that it's being put into the system slowly and that kind of stuff. So I mean, eventually it'll get there, but it's a great currency to be a part of. You know what I'm saying? Like I feel like you can't lose, you know?
I agree, man. And the funny thing about crypto, because I've been investing in it since 2017, you only hear from people that's not investing in it when it's really high or if it's really low. People are like, dang, you still a believer? You like, that shit changed.
Man, like so like I've been into crypto since like late 2015. Like when it was like around $600 on
That's crazy.
on Bitcoin. So at the same time, like seeing it come from there to 60K, back down to 20K, back down to 4K, you know, and then all of a sudden back up to like 40K again. Like it's a great market to be in, but you gotta have, you know, a lot of balls to like really stick through that fluctuation, you know.
Do you think that market is harder to trade it than stocks due to it being 24/7?
So yes, if you're day trading it, but typically like a lot of people that I know, especially like myself, like we mainly use it for transactions. As far as like day-to-day transactions and that kind of stuff, like even like when it comes to trading, you have your brokerage and that kind of stuff. So like whenever you're doing the withdrawals, you're withdrawing in a lot of times cryptos, which it goes straight to Bitcoin immediately. So that's like a very, very short-term transaction. It's not like we're holding it the entire time. We have investments that pretty much it got in at like around 10K or 5K or that kind of stuff. But at the same time, like when it comes to like day-to-day transactions, like Bitcoin is good because you could transfer 100,000 in like 5 minutes versus going to the bank for like a wire transfer and all this verification, that kind of stuff. Transferring 500,000, that kind of like that's easy with Bitcoin, with not much full like verification. You know what I'm saying? Not much questions and everything being asked from the bank and that kind of stuff. So I feel like things like that is beneficial for. Even like certain car dealerships, like they accept Bitcoin also. You know, because they understand that that's going to be a part of the future as well.
You ever bought one using crypto? A car?
Yeah, a lot of my cars.
For real?
Yeah, I bought like my Ferrari Pista. I bought in all Bitcoin. I bought my black Lamborghini SV in all Bitcoin. I bought my Bentley in all Bitcoin.
That's crazy.
Yeah, like because like it's common to me to actually do it now, because like especially like with the person that I used to actually broker like my cars to like find like my specs and that kind of stuff. Like they accept cryptos because they pretty much understand that it's still money. It's just money that you can now make money from. Like even like when I had bought my Ferrari and everything, it was 510,000 when I bought it in 2020. It was at Bitcoin was at 13K. So I sent the guy the 510. 4 days later, that same amount was at 17K. So he could have made an extra like 70K off the money that I sent him.
Exactly.
Immediately. Just from holding it. But he didn't hold it though.
Got rid of it.
He didn't hold it.
That's what always happens.
But he was an older guy.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? So at the same time, like he never really he just seen it as just like, yo, I need that money now. Like he wanted a wire transfer. I had Bitcoin. So at the same time, like he wanted it in his bank immediately. If he held out just a week, just holding, that would have been an extra money. Extra. Yeah.
Facts. That's crazy, bro. Yeah. So speaking of cars, what got you in the cars?
As a kid, man. As a kid, it's always been like a passion of mine, honestly. Like growing up in Jamaica and everything, like, you know, it was first I was very, very big into trucks, like 18-wheelers, because like that's all that I seen, like growing up in the country and that kind of thing. But when I came to America, it was more you're seeing more. You know, you're seeing all these cars that you only seen online and that kind of stuff. So I feel like from that point, you know, I'm getting into like a vehicle that could actually get me to that point that I could actually afford these kind of cars. Then when I was able to get them, then I'm gonna, you know, live it out at that point, you know.
How many you have right now?
9 cars.
You got 9?
Yeah.
Damn, that's great. Do you feel like having those, especially being in Miami, you do feel like it impacted your life positively? Like different perks and stuff like that?
I mean, for one, it's a passion of mine. You know what I'm saying? So it's not like I'm doing it for others. I'm doing it for like myself, just living out my passions and shit. But yeah, like, you know, I said this the other day, like, yo, like if you're driving a Honda, like if you're at a gas station, like no one's gonna ask you like what you do for a living.
That's a fact.
You know what I'm saying? If you're driving like a car that costs $500,000 or $800,000, you're like, what do you do for a living? Like, how old are you again? You know, like they get a little bit curious because of that right there. So I feel like just that alone, like a car alone, just opens up like a network that you never had before and that kind of stuff. So like people might think it's superficial and that kind of stuff. But at the same time, like, yo, listen, like it gets you places. You know, like when it comes down to it, like even like going to a car show, like a supercar car show, all those people that's fucking at the car show, they do something that's not like a regular job. You know, so being open to that alone, like you can learn a few things, you know? Yeah.
And I want to talk about mindset and discipline for a second, because I want to ask you, how do you, as a man that's living, like you say, living in Miami is my favorite city, like you said, that's your favorite city, and you live a life of luxury, how are you able to maintain that discipline to stay focused, to keep working? I
mean, I wouldn't even say this, like, I don't really focus on the whole life of luxury part, you know what I'm saying? Like, I have a balance at the same time. Like, I have luxury in certain parts of my life, but not every single aspect of my life. You gotta, just create a balance, bro. Like, you kind of get used to things. Like once you get used to seeing a certain thing each and every day and that kind of stuff, you kind of get numb to it, like desensitized. And then from that point, you could just focus on like what's really important.
Yes, that's important, man. Because I know, like, I always had a conversation. You know, these days there's a lot of distractions with social media, shit going on outside. If you like being outside, so I know for many people, staying disciplined and continuing to work, especially after they achieve some success, it becomes harder and harder for a lot of people.
Yeah, that's why it's just as important to keep a certain kind of people around you as well. You know what I'm saying? People that surround you that can actually keep you grounded, that can actually, you know, like tell you if you're fucking up. You know what I'm saying? Like, yo, like you tripping, like, you know, like that kind of thing. I feel like that's just as important as just having new people around you as well. You kind of have like, you know, that person that pretty much keeps you balanced when you're interacting with these new people and that kind of stuff, or going through certain phases in your life and that kind of thing.
Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. If you mind sharing, what's some of your favorite cryptos?
I'm not super heavy into it. Like my my business partner, he pretty much focuses on full cryptos. Emil Trader. But with me, like, I mean, I focus on the main thing with just Bitcoin, which is what I actually use for those daily kind of transactions and that kind of stuff. But you know, the common stuff, Bitcoin, Litecoin, like that kind of stuff, Ethereum, because those are things that I'm using in my daily life for certain stuff. So at the same time, like that alone is like my focus point. But I don't go too in depth with it, because at the same time, like that's just not my focus point. I'll invest into it, but I'm not going to sit there and research like what's a new crypto and that kind of thing.
Right. So like, so 20, this just your opinion. So 2030, like, what do you think? Stuff like Bitcoin and Ethereum, and by the people that's listening, this, like I said, this is opinion. You know, you got motherfuckers that'll be like, he said it's gonna be this. So what you think it's gonna be in 2030?
In 2030 was 2022. I'll probably say, like 70K, bro. 70K, 80K.
A Bitcoin?
Yeah, I'll probably say that.
Dang, so that's...
And remember, like 2030 is around the corner. You know what I'm saying? So 8 years, things are going like pretty quickly. So at the same time, like I'll probably say, like 80,000, like a little bit under 100K probably. You know, it probably still has like that fluctuation. Like probably hits 80K and jumps back to 40K. Then all of a sudden 40K back up to 9. You know what I'm saying? Like that kind of shit. So
That volatility crazy.
yeah.
And what's regarding trading, if you mind sharing this also, what are some of your biggest wins and losses trading?
I just spoke about this the other day on the site. Yeah. Like my biggest win in one day was $450,000.
That's crazy.
That's when I had bought the Pista, the Ferrari, the red Ferrari. I had flew out to Missouri and everything. That's when I paid the guy the 510. From one trade.
That's crazy. What was it? What trade was it?
It was $410,000. That was 10 lot on US 30. 10 lot on US 30. $410,000, just like that.
How much did you have to put up to risk?
No, so at that point in time, I had I started my account with $600K because I mean I was already making money and everything. So like I started my account with $600K. I grew it from $600K to 1.8. Lost this biggest loss.
Okay,
it comes along with that as well. I lost $300K in one day.
Damn.
When I was on my anniversary, and after that, boom, close, withdraw, I'm done. I bought the car and I was chilling.
That's crazy. Same day.
No, not same day, but
not the
like
win or
same
loss.
same account timeline.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? So yeah.
I asked a lot of people that question.
Remember, like, I don't cap about anything. You know what I'm saying?
I believe
No,
you.
big numbers. People get a little like, oh shit.
Yeah.
Everything's on IG. You know what I'm saying?
Right. And then you got people, because I know people, they'll hear that, they be like, man, he got all that money in a day. They'll think they could do the same with an account with goddamn $10 in it.
Yeah, no, I remember like all that takes time to develop, and I feel like every single trader has to actually go through those downfalls and everything of taking those big hits to kind of like show you like, yo, like you're not there yet. Like those kind of like just reality moments. Like they try to actually grow an account too aggressively, and all of a sudden they fucking lose the entire account. You know what I'm saying? And then all of a sudden like they stop and think like, you know what? Damn, I gotta probably study a little bit more. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So like just again like not watching what someone else is doing because they could do it. Just because they could do it, that means that you could do it eventually, but not yet. Like it takes a certain kind of edge, I feel like.
And with the state of the economy, do you still feel like it's a good time to be an active trader?
Yeah, it doesn't really affect us, honestly. Like even like with our recessions and that kind of stuff, it doesn't really affect us. Like I feel like it might sound bad, but I mean we make money when a market is bullish or bearish, up or down. So it doesn't really affect how we're making daily profit, honestly. Right. At the most that you might experience is probably just like consolidation, which is just like the market is moving sideways the entire time. But
right.
Even in that, depending on how big of a consolidation range that you're experiencing, you can still make money in some kind of way as well.
And I want to take it back for a second because I know this probably will be a lot more relatable for most people when you mention like working at Target. Like, what was I just want to go back to like the mentality you had before you say, you know what, I want to go in entrepreneurship and investing and all that. Like, what was your mind at while you working that job? Because it's millions and millions of people in that position right now that want to get there.
I was been on the entrepreneurship route. You know what I'm saying? Like my dad was an entrepreneur from he was like 13 plus. You know what I'm saying? So that was been kind of like instilled in our blood and everything is entrepreneurship. Period. So even like then, even at Target, I was still aiming entrepreneurship as well because I was still doing like an affiliate marketing type thing online as well. I already started like, making a little bit of online money to kind of like get a taste of it at least, and just seeing people do it. I was inspired as well. Not me trying to follow their way, but at the same time, like knowing that it's possible in some kind of way. You know what I'm saying? Like I believe that in every lie there's a truth in some kind of way, right? So at the same time, like just me seeing it as possible, I was a bit more tuned into like, me actually going full fledged and actually achieving these kind of things and that kind of shit. So I was never ever blind to it. I was never ever like just closed minded to entrepreneurship or like jumping the ship to actually do my own thing.
That's dope, bro. And also talk about your platform too, just for the people that's listening to this.
I have a lot of platforms, man. Okay. We have I have like my main platform, which is Wall Street Academy, where I actually teach like my methodology and that kind of thing. It's over like 140 hours worth of content on there alone. Yeah. I had it since like 2016, and it's like a always developing platform as well. Like the better I get, the better my students get as well, because I update a lot of things on there as far as like how I'm trading and my methodology as I go on and that kind of thing. Then I have my other platform for people that is trading but pretty much don't have the capital. We have a funding program called Top Tier Trader. So that pretty much people run through an evaluation process that pretty much once they pass a two-step evaluation process, then it gives them the ability to actually get funded up to, what was it, like $300,000, and then they could pretty much compound accounts up to $600,000. But you could get an account for $25,000, $100,000, $50K, $200K, $300K once you actually pass that evaluation process, once you actually buy a challenge. So it gives people the chance to pretty much make great money based off of their skill without having the capital to actually, put up that $300,000 and that kind of thing. They actually can earn that if they buy the package, which is a lot cheaper. And then from there, your thing.
That's crazy, yo.
Yeah.
That's dope too.
Thanks, man.
Yeah, man. And I want to talk about branding for a second too, because I know
branding.
Yeah. This is. I feel like this is dope and a lot of relatable to most people because everybody want to be online building a brand. So, in your opinion, what's some of the biggest keys you think to building a dope brand that's respectable?
Yeah. So like this is like one of my main brand, like right here, Forever and Profit. I can got it tattooed like right here also and shit. It's pretty much you gotta create a brand that pretty much people can actually resonate to. You know what I'm saying? Like people can actually look at that brand and be like, yo, like that's me too. You know what I'm saying? Like they actually can they understand the storyline of the brand and understand what the brand means to the owner as well, but also the brand can mean a lot to that person at the same time. So like a person has to be able to resonate with the brand based off the brand storyline and like where the brand is actually going and that kind of thing. Being passionate about a brand, promoting the brand, every single day in some kind of way. You know what I'm saying? Like listen to the people to pretty much see like what do they want to see from the brand. A lot of times is very, very important as well. Getting small tips on what you could improve on, like what they want to see the brand do and all these things, and then implement your own ideas along with their ideas to make it make sense and that kind of thing. So I feel like just being very, very involved with the brand enough, as consistently as possible over the years to a point that it could become that household name and that kind of thing. But you have to put a lot of work in, but also like make people understand what the brand is about, because once they actually can sit there and actually feel the brand like how the owner feels the brand also, then I feel like it goes far. Yeah.
How essential is storytelling in that process?
Bro, very, very major, because if your brand just has a name, a cool name, but there's no storyline, there's nothing behind it, it's just a name. It means nothing. You know what I'm saying? Like it says nothing. Like it's just a cool name. Like there's no kind of like dynamic behind what that brand actually stands for, versus having a storyline. Like people can be like, damn, I feel that. Like Forever and Profit means that name was actually caused by me trading this 1 week, and I was trading this one trade, and I was in profit for like about 3, 4, 5 days, and I'm like, God damn, like I'm forever in profit. Like what the hell? Like it's crazy. And it was like back in 2015 it happened, and then from that point, like Forever and Profit was the brand name itself. So like that pretty much it says like, yo, whatever we do in this market, regardless of what happens, we will be forever in profit because we're gaining a skill set that could actually change our lives in many, many ways. And no one can take that away. So that's why that brand is called Forever and Profit, because it's a skill set that could take us super far beyond our measures, generational knowledge and everything. So like you could always be forever in profit based off the skill set.
I like your story, man, because like you've been in the game for almost a decade, and you said you like putting in almost $40,000-$50,000. That's super respectable. Just because today you see so many people, so many people, they start within 3 months. They like, man, why the fuck I ain't got results like you? And they really expect to have that shit. So to be somebody on the grind for so long, like I want people to fully understand that the shit don't come overnight. You really got to put that work in.
Yeah, and it doesn't even feel like a grind. It's just like what I
just
do.
You love.
Yeah, that's it. I don't think about it. You know what I'm saying? It's not like it's work or nothing like that. It's just like what I like to do. It makes me money, great. But at the same time, like I could also, build the kind of lifestyle that I envision for myself.
Yeah, that's crucial, man. Like I said, I really salute that because I know how hard it is when you building something and you sticking to it year after year. It might be times where you feel like you ain't seeing the results that you necessarily want to see, but you still sticking to it regardless. That's very commendable, man.
Yeah, I feel like that's people that's trying to just watch the money the entire time. You know what I'm saying? I feel like this right here, with this brand was very, very important because it wasn't even based on money. It was based on just the potential of what a skill set can actually do versus the money at that point in time. Because back then, like the money wasn't flowing like that yet, but we had our hands on something that had so much potential to be great,
Right.
So actually trying to fall off because it's not making the kind of money like how we expect, it wasn't even like an option because the money wasn't even the focus in the first place.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And in your opinion, what's the biggest challenges with being an entrepreneur, you think?
The biggest challenge, I feel like just finding something that you're actually very, very into. You know, like finding a passion for a certain thing first. Once you find that from the many ventures that you might come across, the one that you do find and stick to, I feel like that's the one that you focus on the most. But it takes time to actually, you know, go through certain industries and that kind of stuff to kind of like see where you fit in, because once you actually find that spot after like the fourth or fifth time, then you could actually build a lot from that. Because I've seen many people come from, let's say, 2-3 different companies, and then all of a sudden settle to something that I had no idea that they were even into. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, I feel like it takes a person to actually step out of that comfort zone to explore those ideas and see where they actually fit in. So like trying to find like a passion for a certain craft and just finding where you fit in. Yeah.
Throughout these 8-9 years, was there ever a time where you felt burnt out?
I wouldn't necessarily say like burnt out, but yeah, burnt out when I was teaching. I used to do like my in-person classes like all around the country. I taught in Australia for like a month. I flew to Austin to teach, Dallas, New York, LA, multiple times, all over Florida and everything, because that's the main spot. So I was definitely burnt out for the 5 years that I was teaching, doing that. Like every other week I was having like a brand new class, like 20, 30 students, sold out in seconds, that kind of shit. And I did it for like 5 years, bouncing around, traveling. But it was cool though. But at the same time, like I feel like that was very, very important, because I had to like, put in that time to actually build my brand name as well. Actually putting like the groundwork in.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like go on the ground and like show people like my face and everything to introduce like my brand to the people that, they know the brand, but they want to meet the face of the brand a lot of times.
How do you rekindle that flame when you are feeling like kind of burnt out?
Focus on a new project at times. Like focus on something that you could pretty much find that fire again. Because once I was done teaching, all right, cool. Like, so I'm burnt out of this. Like, let me just find something else that I'm super passionate about in that same field, of course, but at the same time, it's like not exactly that. So then I pretty much turned that entire like in-person segment of things into an NFT, which is still being sold till this day, which is great. Right. So I turned everything into an NFT, which is now on that market.
That's hard, bro.
On OpenSea. So like I was able to actually take advantage of like the new digital assets and then put it into something that I was been doing for 5 years that people still want to experience, but without me giving that anymore.
Yeah. I want to ask you this, because I like asking people this question too. So like, when you don't have money, you completely think about money differently compared to when you actually get it. You look at it differently when you actually accomplish having it. So is there anything that like realizations you had when you actually attained the money that you like completely thought like it was the wrong thinking? Or I'm trying to ask this the right way. Like, you get what I'm saying?
As far as like order of importance type thing, right?
Order of importance, or like just the wrong philosophy around money.
Yeah. So for one, I feel like you can't take advice. You can't take much advice from a person that don't have money,
right?
Because they don't understand the same experiences like how you've already experienced. So like you've already experienced things, and then they are assuming things. Like
that's a bar.
It doesn't make sense. You know what I'm saying? Like you're going based off of like me actually experiencing things versus taking your assumptions on how it could work or how it might work. It's not the same. So I feel like just saying that let's say buying an expensive car, like for example, like that certain parent that might say, yo, like don't get a BMW or like, don't get a Benz, like that kind of thing. It's expensive, but not realizing like, yo, listen, like that car can now open doors that I never had access to before. Like things like that. You know what I'm saying? Just that concept alone, I feel like is very, very important. Just like understand that you have to spend money to make money.
All facts. And what's funny is when it comes to money, it's usually the people with the opinions is usually the ones that never had those experiences. Those are the ones you hear from the most. Everybody got an opinion when you got it. And they know they're trying to tell you what to do, what you should do, what you shouldn't do. And you like, damn, some people get flustered. Some people get lost in the sauce, all that shit.
Yeah, no, it's a common thing, man. That's why I feel like you got to have your blinders on in some kind of way as well, because you don't want to get sidetracked by like bad influence or like bad just ideas
advice
that you might get from a person that hasn't experienced those things. So like now you're taking advice from a person that hasn't had those same experiences or come close to those experiences. So that could also throw you off as well. It's like take it with a grain of salt type of thing. Like don't. You could hear it out, but I mean, not to ingest it. I feel like
as you continue to grow and reach new levels, how important is your circle around you?
Probably one of the most important things, man. You gotta have it's like having good soil. You know what I'm saying? Like having good soil and having an environment around you that can allow you to grow versus having bad soil. Now all of a sudden everybody around you is pretty much trying to keep you down the entire time. You know what I'm saying? So like, yeah, like have a good environment around you that allows you to grow into something beautiful as well. So yeah.
Do you think it's harder to trust the more successful you become?
Naturally, yeah, definitely, definitely naturally. You can't tell a person everything, you know, because then they can use it against you and that kind of stuff. So like, you got to be very, very selective on how you speak and speak less and listen more. You know what I'm saying? Like just as time goes on and everything else, just listen more than trying to actually have your voice heard.
And sometimes when people get some success, they ready to tell everybody how they did it, they thought processes on it, and like you said, the more you speak, the more you don't. It's like they call it the evil eye. You don't know who has that watching you with that jealous, that envy, that's taking the shit you saying, that want to do some crazy. You never really know. So I completely agree. It is you should speak less and listen more.
Yeah,
but I know for a lot of people that's probably not as easy to do.
Again, like it's an experience thing. You know what I'm saying? Like I feel like they have to experience certain things to actually. Like, oh shit, like, you know, I should have done so and so, you know.
If you was let's say you was starting the position you was in when you was at Target, if you was starting in that position in 2022, like how would you if you want to be a successful person, how would you start today on that path?
Damn, bro. For one, invest in education.
That's the most important thing, right?
That's literally the most important thing because for one, you're paying someone to pretty much give you their experience so you don't have to actually go through everything. As far as you're taking like a nice, the learning curve is going to be a lot shorter that way versus going through the fire and the ups and downs that you don't know how to actually bounce back from because you don't have a person guiding you the entire time. So I feel like just finding a mentor that you could pretty much, you know, learn from how they learn from their experiences. And then from that point, I feel like it'll make things a lot easier. But that's probably the most important thing.
I know a common question people ask me, they were like, how do I know it's a good mentor? Because there's a lot of people that's capping on you. As you know, it's a lot of people that's capping online. So some people might say, if they're not experienced enough or have those experiences, how do they know to identify this person as a good mentor?
I feel like that kind of shit's obvious, bro.
I agree too.
People, I agree. Yeah, people overthink it, honestly. Yeah. Like, I feel like I could talk to a person for like 5 minutes and like oh, yeah, whatever. Like, I feel like it's very, very obvious. You know what I'm saying? Just from
I agree.
How they talk, how they carry themselves, how they go about certain situations, even how they do business at times. Like I could tell, you know. That's it.
No, I agree. The reason I asked is because the things that we might consider obvious, some people be like they say, common sense ain't common.
Yeah, man. But you got to also be able to feel the energy. Also, you know what I'm saying? Energy is major. You know, you got to actually be able to like, you know what, like damn, like that person has a good energy about them, you know, like like you can't tell, but it's like it just feels good, you know.
Right.
I feel like I felt people with a dark cloud already and that kind of shit. I'm like, I gotta
away from that person.
I gotta get out of here, you know, like and even that's obvious to me, you know. But I feel like it's the person feels it. It's a case by case thing. It's like a person has to feel it as an individual, like you know, like. You could sense it. Yeah. I don't know, man. Like things just
I agree.
Start to ring off and shit.
Yeah, I agree. Are you actively trading the stock market too?
Not exactly. No.
Oh, no.
Not my kind of market. I feel like it's just a market that not my thing. I like the index market.
Really?
Index market and currency market.
Well, you like it a lot better, huh?
Yeah, that's forte. I have a lot of friends that trade inside the stock market, but it's not my thing though. I'm good. Because I remember like coming from trading inside this market to now converting over into stocks, like now you got to learn a whole new platform a lot of times, which takes time as well. You have to learn all these new ways on how to actually go about things, leveraging certain kinds of money and like all these things. So I feel like it just takes time, bro. But what I make does good for me. So I'm all right.
He's good at staying in your lane. Right.
I'm perfectly fine. And it's a lane that it's a very, very broad lane that we could all fit. So I'm not stressing over it.
Best advice to somebody that actually want to start trading in the market today, but they don't know where to start.
First, okay, so like they have sites like babypips.com. It's free. You could get introduced to the industry at the most smallest level as far as terminology and that kind of stuff, which is perfectly free. And it's good because like you're not gonna actually invest into a platform as of yet. If you find the information something that you could actually grasp and like get into, cool. Then start to invest in a person that pretty much has a program, kind of like me. I have Wall Street Academy, like invest into a program, and from there you can actually now learn a methodology to now start to actually make money and to navigate through like a market and that kind of thing. Like it could be from the trading platform, it could be from the psychological standpoint of trading, a lot of mental health stuff, taxes, and just the full methodology itself. So I feel like just having a platform that covers all that stuff plus more, like it's like a one-stop shop. And just try to actually get onto something first that could pretty much give you the concepts of what trading is all about, how money is made, and then invest into something that you could actually now start to make money from. Yeah.
With you being like a true car guy, talk about, because I feel like a lot of people still don't know that, even though I know you're not buying them for this reason, but talk about how cars can be an asset, because a lot of people look at it as a waste of money.
No, so all the cars that I do buy is collector cars. Like one of my cars is one of 18, one of my cars is one of 600, one of my cars is one of like 11, or one of 1500, and I have a new car that's coming that's one of 63. So I only try to buy collectors when it comes to like my supercars, because for one, like, yeah, they're an appreciating asset for one because they're limited. A lot of my cars are V12s, so at the same time, like all those cars are going to be increasing in value because they stopped making the V12s, and now they're going to be having hybrid assist and like all these things. So like the raw power of like natural cars are slowly dying. So like getting onto cars now, I feel like you're gaining that value. But like every single car that I've bought from 2020 onto now, they're already up like $100,000, $150,000. Like even the piece that I had bought for the 510, $630 like right now.
That's $630. You said you should pay $5 for it, right?
$510.
That's crazy.
Yeah. One of the Lamborghinis that I have, it's bought it for $425. It's now worth like around like $6 flat. You know what I'm saying? So like it could be an appreciating asset. Just which car are you buying? That matters. You can't buy a Honda Civic and think that you're gonna gain value. Like it doesn't make sense. Like so, like buying cars that pretty much are collector items. Right. The highest tier in like a certain car class and that kind of stuff. Those are cars that you could actually gain value from.
The ones that you collect? Are you actively driving them
every day?
Are you actively driving? Okay.
Every day. I have fun with my cars, of course. Like it's not just gonna sit down there and don't ever get driven. But at the same time, like I have fun with my cars, but at the same time, like I spread out my mileage because I have a lot of cars. So it's not like all that mileage is going onto like one car or two cars. It's being spread out. So I still have my fun, as well as make sure that the value is still being held up, enough. Yeah. I
asked because I met this guy a while back. He was an older guy, by the way. And he had like 40 some cars, but he didn't drive none of them.
Yeah, I mean, those are the collectors. I feel like eventually I'll have certain cars that's like that, but for the most part now, I mean, still young, still having fun. Like you buy the cars for a reason. You know what I'm saying? So like just have fun. Like if you lose money on it, cool, whatever. But at least you actually had fun on that mileage that you drove the car. So it's not always about the money. It's about the enjoyment and experience of the cars as well. Yeah.
What do you 5-10 years from now? What do you see yourself?
Hard to say, man. I feel like I've done a lot since 2014 alone. So I feel like, plus 10 years, like that's crazy, man. Like I can't even like fathom that, honestly. Just taking it day by day, man. Like just trying to get all my business and that kind of stuff, like pumping at like the highest level, versus actually trying to actually open up new different business each and every year, focusing on all the current brands that I have like now. And yeah, just like try to see the best in all those brands and go from there really. But at the same time, like to say like where I'll be in 10 years, who knows, man? Like hopefully I'll be alive and healthy, mainly, Yeah.
Do you ever feel content?
There's many times that I do, and then I got friends that's doing more at times too. Right. You know what I'm saying? So it's kind of like it's hard to feel content when you have friends that's like in friendly competition, like with you also. You know what I'm saying? Like we kind of push each other too. So
I think that's important to have.
Yeah, of course, it's very important. I feel like you have to have like that friendly competition to keep you striving for like that next level, and whichever that next level means for you. Like, you know, you're striving for something greater than where you currently are. Yeah.
And this my final question I got for you. So if somebody listening to this, what's the biggest piece of advice you could give them to actively start their life on a better path? What would you give them right now?
Take the chance.
Take a risk.
Take a risk. Like that's pretty much step one. You know what I'm saying? Like if you're not trying to actually take any kind of risk in life, then I feel like you don't really deserve much.
Damn.
That's what it is, right?
Yeah, I agree.
You don't believe so? Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I completely agree.
Yeah, like
but I like when people speak straightforward like you, because I think people need those harsh realities. Some people consider that harsh. Yeah, but I agree completely.
But I mean, it's the reality of the situation. Like if you're a person that pretty much want to stick to like that, what is it called? Like in
the rat race
in bowling, in bowling, like the ding 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 ding.
Oh, the gutter.
Huh?
The gutters?
No, the things that come up on the side of the thing, so you don't go in the gutter.
I don't know what that shit.
The railings.
The rails,
yeah.
The rails.
If you want to stick into a life that pretty much like you have railings the entire time, like
right.
I mean, cool. And then like, all right, go to high school, graduate, go to college, graduate, go to a job that, you know, is paying you $40K a year. Cool. Like you could survive, you know. But if you're a person that pretty much, you know, sees like what life can actually be, and you want to strive for that, then you gotta, you know, take some extra risks.
I agree. Is that so?
Yeah.
Sometimes people think it's some like magic trick or some crazy secret you're gonna get them when it's really
it's just effort, man. Effort, passion, and just a lot of time.
A lot of time.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was recording a couple days ago. I had a guy. He built multiple 8-figure businesses. He was telling me he worked 70 hours a week. He was like, if you ain't working 70 hours a week, don't tell me about what you ain't doing.
That's the thing, but why is he counting? You know what I'm saying? Like, if you work, like, why is he counting? Like, I could work all day and not even make it seem like work. Like, I'm just living. But at the same time, like, a business is such a part of, like, my life that, we're just living. Like, we talk business, like, right now. You know what I'm saying? Whatever. Like, that's literally 3 days.
No, you're
of just all working. I feel like if you're passionate about something, then you're not counting it.
I think his point was, though, because he was just saying, like, you can't do minimum work and expect to get maximum results. 100%. I think he was saying you have to work, put hella hours into it.
Yeah, but
really
also don't count your hours. If you're passionate about something, then you're just doing it. Versus saying, damn, man, I put in 10 hours today. You're just grinding.
That's a hell of a perspective.
Yeah, you're just grinding. Like if you're playing basketball,
right,
and you're trying to be the best player ever, like you're gonna stay inside the gym until the fucking gym lights
all day.
You don't care about the time.
Nope.
You're just playing. You're practicing. Like you're not even worried about time. Like, oh shit, it been like 10 hours. Oh shit, I didn't even notice. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know.
You're right. If you once you really love something, but I think that's probably more so for people that actually not in love with what they're doing. They got to force themselves. They probably need an actual time limit to stick in there, because you got some people, like we know, a lot of people don't really love what they're doing for real. 100%. Even the ones that's making money.
100%. Yeah.
So they probably
they're just good at it, but they're not really passionate about it. Yeah.
With that being said, do you think trading is more like is it some kind of like natural gift that's a part of it too?
I wouldn't say that. I feel like everybody can learn it. Like, keep in mind, like I have my youngest student now is like 14. Oldest student is like 60 something years old.
That's crazy.
So the range is crazy. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like it's not natural. I feel like you could definitely develop the skill, of course. I've seen it done thousands of times, but you know, you got to be a certain kind of person that's open to learning something new, and that's very, very different from what they're used to as far as language wise, the amount of hours that they're putting in wise, the kind of reward that it could get out of that certain skill set. Like trading alone doesn't really have that much downside. You know what I'm saying? Like it's not really much. It has a lot of upside, but not much downside to it. For one, the upside is it's a market that's open 6 days a week, 24 hours a day. Mm-hmm. For one, you can make as much money as you want to when it comes down to it. There's no cap on how much you as a person can actually make. For three, it's generational knowledge. You could teach your kids this plus more, you know. And yeah, like you could teach a friend this, like your mom, sister, whatever. Like it's no limits. Like you don't have to You could be a felon, a 3-time felon, and still learn trading and still do great.
Right.
I have a person in jail like right now he just showed me a video of him having pictures of trading stuff on his wall and everything in jail. It's crazy.
That's wild.
Crazy. And he comes out in January and he been riding me for the past like 2 years.
Actively trading.
Actively trading still. He's on my program. Look at that. Swear to God.
I know.
Crazy.
That's crazy.
And the part about that is like, it kind of showed me like, yo, bro, like you could be any race, anything. It doesn't matter what walk of life you're coming from. You can still learn this right here. So like it's open to literally any and everybody, as long as you're open to actually receiving that as well.
And that's game, bro. And with that being said, I just want to say, man, I appreciate you coming out. I DM'd you. You hit me right back. A couple of days later, you had the flight book and you were here in the studio. So
quick and easy, man.
Yeah, quick and easy. I appreciate that, bro. But before I let you go, plug in all your stuff where people can follow you. They could tap into the programs, everything.
I mean, everything is pretty much the same handle, at QBanks, CUEBANKS. Verified on IG. So you don't get scammed. Bye.
Man, you gotta say that.
Listen, like it's like about 300 fake pages just floating around. So at the same time, just verified. So yeah, you can't miss me.
Y'all make sure y'all tap in with him, man. And y'all can follow me on all platforms at Xavier C. Miller and follow the Millionaire Mindset everyone on all platforms. And that's all I got for you on this episode of the Millionaire Mindset Podcast. See you guys next episode. Peace.
Yeah, peace out.
Gotta get your brain right if you're trying to make $1 million. If you ain't gonna do it for yourself, then do it for your mama. Only stay surrounded by them people if you know they solid. Elevate your hustle up today to double up your profit. Trying to learn some game, Xavier gonna talk about it. No Deanna, speak that that everybody vouching. Ain't no more excuses valid. Get up off the couch and get up in your bag. To your bank account, need an accountant.